Hey guys, we've got Shane, Nikki, Kian, and Mark with us, reunited in Singapore. Hello, guys.
Yes, we're back. Guess who's back?
Hello.
Guess who's back?
I think it's a different boy band.
Yeah, that was somebody else.
Okay, now we're so happy that you guys are back together. It's been 8 years since your last performance in the Philippines. What can you remember most about your last visit and your very loyal Filipino fans?
The last concert was in
The Coliseum.
the Coliseum.
Yes, Araneta Coliseum.
And it was packed. It was very hot. I remember it being
quite
very
sad, though,
even backstage
because
was
we were
very hot. I
finishing.
remember it was so
Yeah.
sweating. It was like the big white
Quite
corridor,
humid,
big
yeah.
long white corridor. Yeah, it was just an amazing experience, obviously, but quite sad.
But I do think it was, we had so many great times in the Philippines. But on that particular show, I think we knew that we were coming to an end. I'm not sure we'd
Nobody
announced
else knew,
it in
yeah.
the arena that night because we thought we were probably going to come back again the following year to say properly goodbye. That never happened. We didn't have the time to fit it in then at the end. Any part of Asia really, or actually we were in China, but not Southeast Asia. So, yeah, it was quite sad. I do remember on that tour, when we'd come off stage, we'd have that moment where we'd look at each other and go, it's probably the last time, we're going to play the Philippines. But then we went to the bar and had a party. And
We actually did. We had a great party actually after the Philippines in Manila the last time. We went to a bar and played pool. Do you remember? Yeah, that was the Philippines.
That
We
was
went to a bar
actually.
and
Did we
played
go
pool.
and play pool after every gig on that tour?
Yeah, and we
And
drank,
get-
we drank
and get
like some
really, really
Coronas,
tipsy.
and Mark had some buggy like Coke,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did I get handcuffed that night as
No,
well?
you
Or was
didn't
that
get
different?
You fell asleep with the feet now.
Sounds a lot of fun.
That was
Well,
Jakarta, sorry, that was Jakarta.
when we heard that you guys are getting back together, we were so excited. But can you tell us the story of how it happened? It must have been a challenge getting everybody back on board. Who initiated it?
It kind of started off like myself and Shane had dinner with our wives at Christmas 2 years ago, and we just got talking about Westlife and talking about the history and some of the memories and stuff like that. And I think we both probably came away from that going, wonder will we ever do it again? And then fast forward a year later, we saw Mark, and then we had a big meeting in Nikki's house, and that was the first time we actually sat in a room together to even talk about it. So, we started talking about the idea of doing Westlife again, and then, it just kind of started happening. We made 1 or 2 calls to 1 or 2 different people, and then we had meetings, and then we found out that Ed Sheeran had written some Westlife songs without even knowing that Westlife were talking about getting back together because he loved Westlife when he was a little boy. So it was kind of like all these kind of things just kind of happened, and the stars aligned, as we would say.
Absolutely.
Yes, we actually want to know more about that, how you ended up collaborating with Ed Sheeran and Steve Mack.
Well, so Steve Mack, we've been lucky enough to work with Steve Mack since the very, very beginning of the band. Literally our first single, Swear to Again, was produced and written by him. Also, Flying Without Wings, World of Our Own, You Raise Me Up, so many songs. What Makes a Man? I mean, the list is endless, And actually, Unbreakable as well was another song. And all those songs that I'm talking about, at that point in time, it was like 1998, 99, 2000. Ed Sheeran was like 7 or 8 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was starting to pick up instruments and play the guitar. And, he's told us this story that he learned how to play the guitar to some of our songs, to our greatest hits album, which was called Unbreakable, our first greatest hits album.
2003.
And so all of this was happening around the same time, and he was a fan of Westlife, and obviously he knew that Steve Mack produced these songs as well. So eventually, Ed, a few years ago, a couple of years ago, wrote this little song called Shape of You with Steve Mack, and worked with him, and so they went kind of, oh, well, that went very well, let's do some more songs. And in the next session, Ed was like, you know what, I don't want to do like kind of cool modern pop, I just want to write some Westlife songs. You're Mr. Westlife, I want to write Westlife songs. And so they wrote, a handful of songs, and this was all before they knew that we were going to get back together. And so eventually, fast forward another year or 6 months or whatever it was, we decided to get back together, and our manager was like, wait a minute, Steve Mack and Ed Sheeran wrote some songs for Westlife. So, it all kind of happened really... Organically and also coincidentally, if that is how you...
Stars aligned.
And yeah, so,
Stars
the
aligned,
stars aligned, and all of a sudden, the first 2 or 3 songs that we recorded, because we were worried about finding, songs that were good enough.
Right music, yeah.
The first 3 songs we recorded were written by Ed Sheeran and Steve Mack, the biggest songwriter and producer in the whole world right now. So we've been really lucky so far with this comeback, and that's
been a good start.
sort of how it all happened, yeah.
There's a shorter version of that story Mark doesn't like to tell it.
I thought it was a great version of it.
So there's more than one
Nice.
song written by Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I got from that too.
Sorry, yeah. Well, there's multiple songs. Three that we can tell you about, but there's probably about 6.
Ooh.
No, there's 3
I
or
think
4.
the one
3 or
that the
4.
Philippines are going to love the most has yet to come.
Oh, that's great news.
We've recorded it though.
We have recorded
We have
it.
recorded it, but yeah, the Philippines are going to love
We
it.
could play it for you right now, but we can't.
Actually, Hello My Love charted #1 on iTunes.
Yes!
And thank you so much.
Come on,
Thank you
Philippines!
so much.
Thank you, all our Philippines fans. We love you guys.
Genuinely.
If you say that the next ones are going to be better, then I'm sure it's going to chart.
Well, you know,
as-
each song is actually quite different to the next, so we're really excited to hear what the fans think about the next one and the next one. We're going to release a lot of songs and a full album, so you know, there's loads of Westlife music to come for sure.
But isn't that amazing though? Like genuinely that Philippine fans haven't not heard anything from us in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
That can go on iTunes.
It's some of the best stuff we've ever recorded. It really is.
Wow.
I think "Hello My Love" is a great indicator of where our kind of sound up tempo wise is headed for this album. But we've got some beautiful ballads as well that we've already done that the Filipino fans are going to love.